Afternoons of Solitude is Albert Serra's first film since Pacifiction, a film that thrilled and moved me so deeply with its eerie apocalyptic aesthetics that ultimately it was my favorite film of 2023. Here he turns to documentary filmmaking, following prize bullfighter Andrés Roca Rey's pre- and post-performance ritual, as well as extended hyper-close-ups of his devastating talents in action. Albert Serra claims his camera is an objective eye, one that can reveal what our human eyes cannot. I've often argued that there's no true objectivity in film criticism, so it seems natural that I'd feel the same about filmmaking. Serra's camera is objective with its often long, fixed shots that allow scenes to play out, but his editing achieves something closer to thematic dialectic than objectivity, allowing beauty and brutality, ritualistic devotion and deadening repetition, performance and reality to commingle. Its structure and editing reveals a hypnotic, darkly calculating experience. To say the film is what you can make of it is an understatement. A viewer could walk away thinking it's an animal rights documentary, an anthropological exploration of culture, a comment on masculinity and ego, or a dedication to the prowess of sportsmanship. And all would be correct, more or less, but what makes Afternoons of Solitude so special is its fusion of descriptors, not just adhering to one. Calling a film that highlights the abject violence of bullfighting Afternoons of Solitude may seem odd until you see the film's downtime. Tiny encapsulations in vans or hotel rooms, Ray with his pensive, tormented gaze, and bouts of insecurity to a chorus of adoring supporters in his posse. Ray's boundless ambition necessitates constant encouragement, a house of cards constantly blocked from the wind of criticism. His entourage parrots words of ego padding and divine comparison. The encouragement remains distinctly masculine throughout. They tell him that he has the biggest balls of any matador many, many times, that when he is bullfighting, that he's going to be fighting with the gods. Meanwhile, outside of the van, Ray's dressing routine exudes such femininity that their van sequences become a laughable juxtaposition. The sequence halfway through the film where Ray painstakingly slips into tights, then a cohort assists in lifting his outfit as tightly as possible, similar to bridesmaids helping a bride into a wedding dress, ends with him looking in the mirror, the matador outfit ending just below his shoulders with a pearl necklace around his neck. It's a distinctly female-coded image, one almost Victorian in its aesthetic, where a contextual tradition allows a man in a dress to still have big balls, so to speak. There's a notable van sequence where Ray's absence allows a unique honesty among his entourage, many saying that he takes too many chances. One scene shows two cohorts watching a video of a competitive bullfighter where they decide not to show Ray, presumably due to a fear it would soften his confidence. Serra carefully juxtaposes performance and reality. The intensely focused strength in Ray's face in the ring is clearly one of bravado showmanship, one counteracted with his questioning and insecurity behind closed doors. His hotel scenes show a quiet, faithful man, a mere specter of his big personality as an entertainer. The film questions the role of performer, another context where actions such as violence or feminine dressing or huge ego or dueling with death get a pass under the guise of anthropological non-judgment. There's one scene in the ring where Ray's pants rip to show the tights and the blood underneath. The camera, usually so focused on action at hand, pans to that rip and holds it there, indicating the fragility beneath the veneer. It shows that this is all an act, a finely tuned entertainment machine with horrific consequences, like gladiators in a coliseum being filmed on a cell phone. Tradition intersects almost every idea the film has. As someone completely ignorant of bullfighting before this film, I stand more confused of its appeal now than I did before. The film's animal violence is unflinching and barbaric, i.e., if you are of the opinion that bullfighting should be banned for cruelty, this film will probably justify your view. The matador continually taunts the bull, already weakened by hooks and prods and bleeding profusely from the back. The closer the matador comes to death without being hit, the more glory in his performance. Despite the talent, focus, and clear determination on display, it's impossible for me to see this as anything but deplorable cruelty masquerading as sport. Bullfighting being a prehistoric practice throughout the Mediterranean, it's a form of barbarism protected by a country's adherence to tradition, a relationship that this film is examining quite closely. Is it morally sound to taunt and murder animals for sport? I think most would say no, but somehow this tradition remains. The first shot of the film is of a bull staring directly into the camera, forcing the audience to reckon with the lives that will be taken, a solitary animal peacefully going about its life. Later, Serra's camera doesn't blink and doesn't turn away in the ring. We see the kill shot of the matador stabbing the bull in the brain. We see the bull fall with a close-up on its eyes as the life leaves them, and we see them dragged away in chains to be disposed of. The film willingly divorces itself from historical or cultural context, offering no voiceover, no talking head monologues, no motivations or justifications. It simply films the action with an almost journalistic draining of romanticism. Without the context, all I can do is ask why. Why would anyone be entertained by this? At what point is respecting cultural tradition turning a blind eye to suffering and injustice? The film's repetitive structure reinforces this to the point of desensitization and audience complicity. The first bullfight is a brutal watch, but the film leverages boredom against you by the sixth. The violence more tolerable through frequent occurrence, almost as if we're reading about the most recent war in our history books and saying the casualties weren't quite as bad as the Civil War. I understand those who would not watch this film on moral grounds. Why would there be any attempt to glorify violence like this in any context? It's a fair objection, and one that I think Serra reckons with by making objectivity the prime motive. Interviews and voiceover can only seek to justify or dismiss. If tradition is divorced from context, is there any point to it all, really? For me, it was a clear no. Serra's camera is objective, but his sound design is not. The film's final shot, a blood-soaked Ray holding a bull's ear that was cut off to show his utter dominance before walking out of the stadium, punctuated by a beautiful classical composition, one that slowly and ruefully morphs into a haunting, deafening drone as the film cuts to black, as if whatever beauty was once here is long gone, covered by layers and layers of foreboding. Afternoons of Solitude is my favorite film of 2025 so far, and I encourage you to check it out if you have the stomach for it. I give this film an A. So that's what I thought of Afternoons of Solitude. Please let us know in the comments what you think below, and we will see you next time.